Hey, what's up YouTube world? It's Ryan from Riding in Style. And I've always heard it's not a matter of if, but when you get a flat tire. I'll be working with the Smartravel bike that has a flat in the rear tire. So both tires have motors attached to them, which is going to make it a little more fun, a little more challenging, but hopefully a lot more beneficial to you. So let's get started. If you are here and you are thinking to yourself, wow, Ryan, it looks like that bike has had some better days, you would be 100% correct. And so today we are going to be fixing this rear flat tire, which is always a worst case scenario, right? Why doesn't the front tire get flat? The one that can easily just be pulled off, removed, don't have to go to minor surgery and take off chains and motors for a rear hub motor. But this is the situation, so today we're going to deal with it. Follow along. So in my last segment of what's worse than a flat tire on your e-bike, 2 flat tires is the answer. In my first segment, I used the handlebar jacks to fix the front tire of this SMLRO V3. Well, let me show you what I'm going to be using today. So today I'm using this bike stand that is supposed to be able to carry the weight of that bike there. And this is by West Biking. And let me tell you, this is a great brand of product. I mean, the things that they produce, you know, you just hope that you're getting good quality and everything, but they actually sent me an item to review that I'll be doing a little bit later. But for today, I'm going to be trying out, I've actually never used this before. I just set it up and the timing was perfect to deal with this flat on these bikes. But today I'm going to use this West Biking bike stand, I guess we can call it, to fix the flat on the Smartravel. And yes, the first thing we do before starting any work that involves the motors and tires and wheels is please turn off the power and remove the battery. Oh well, plan B. I really wanted to try out this West Biking bike stand here to fix this flat. However, it's kind of made for bikes that have a straight crossbar there, and as you can see, the only level part is here, so the bike was lopsided anyway. So back to the handlebar jacks to the rescue. Not an issue with this bike stand itself. That's not a problem or a design flaw at all. It's just the way that this bike frame is. So now we have the bike on the handlebar jacks. It is upside down. Now we have to figure out what is going on here. So in the last video, I was trying to demonstrate how you can actually fix the flat it was to the front tire without taking it off the bike. And we saw that you can remove the tube and, you know, do your assessments inside of the tire and check the tube to see if there's a puncture, a hole or anything like that, while the rim is still attached to the fork. In this case though, rear hub motor, this tire unfortunately will have to come off, and so there is a few steps. I'm starting with removing, if your bike has a plastic cap here, so this is why it's important to carry a little tool bag with you, because if this happens miles away from home, you don't want to be stuck with your thumb up hoping someone will pick you up with a truck. So there's 2 sides here. We will have to detach the motor wire, and as you can see, it's zip tied there, so we'll have to cut that. In your travel tool bag, you do want to make sure you have a little snipping tool, something that could cut that, a wire cutter or a little pocket knife. And then you want to have your derailleur, your gearing on the highest gear, which will bring the chain to the lowest setting, and that'll give the chain the most amount of slack so we can actually take this back tire off. All right, we got the rear tire off. It's really not that difficult, and I'm experiencing the exact same symptoms here that I had with the other bike and the other tire, and it's almost eerily too similar. It's like, are these rims and tires and tubes just being slapped together at the factory? I mean, I understand Maybe there's not a whole lot of quality control where these are manufactured, where they come from. Could it be the tire? This is also a Chow Yang. It's the 20 by 4 inch tire. I'm really not sure. But from the visual outward inspection, it doesn't look like there's any punctures. And so I'm wondering if it's just the way that the tubes are put in to these tires from the factory, that when you get them, you know, it's basically designed or impromptu have this type of an incident. If you've ever had an issue when you had a new bike that came in and like after a couple of rides, you just had a unexplained flat, leave a comment below and let me know what you think it was. Anyway, time to diagnose. Don't ask me why I do this, but I'm kind of figuring stuff out. But as part of my diagnosis, first thing I do is I do remove the valve stem core with my tool, just like I did with the last one. And just to see if maybe that could be part of the problem, if it's a faulty valve stem core, and I do have extras just in case it is. And it's also another way to just let all the air out of the tube, making it easier to remove the tube. So I'm accomplishing two things at the same time. So visual inspections are complete. I did run my hand through the tire surface on the inside. I also checked this this liner here just to make sure that it's on good. I don't know if that would have an issue with it as well. Also a visual inspection of the tube here. So what I'm going to do is put the core back into the valve stem, put some air in this tube, and just see if there is any leaks. If there's no leaks, oh, check this out, guys. I just looked over to my left, and there, it's a staple, which did in fact. So I'm going to contradict myself. There is in fact a staple there. I actually almost feel better about knowing that there was a reason for this flat, because I was starting to get a little discouraged of thinking that, you know, these bikes are just going to get flat without any cause or any warning. But here we have it. There is the culprit. So now that we know that there was in fact a reason for the tire going flat, which makes so much sense to me, I'm not even going to bother patching the tire. I'm actually going to go ahead and use this. This here, I bought several of these, enough to go into all the bike tires, but like I said, I didn't put it in the other, the SMLRO, but I'm going to try this out for the first time in this bike here, the Smartravel. I'm going to put it in the rear tire, and then I'm also going to do the same thing with the front tire, take out all the air in the valve stem, and just, so today's video is going to switch from just fixing a flat to actually throwing some slime into the tire. So the parts that I had issues with was literally just getting this part of the fork here, if you can zoom in, all the way down, like with getting the brake rotor inside of the pads there and having it sit flush, while at the same time trying to get this chain organized so that this stud here could actually sit flush inside of that rear frame bracket there. And it just was like when one side was good, the other side would move and get up, and it was just so frustrating. So what I ended up doing to give me a little bit extra play, which is what was missing, there was too much tension on the chain. I just took it off of the front chain ring there, and that gave me enough slack just to kind of move the tire, wiggle it around just enough to get both sides flush at the same time. It was really tricky, but I want to say I think the hard part is over. But before I tighten everything up and put my seal of approval on this project, I am going to put the slime in the tire using the tube, and then I'm also going to fill it up with air just to make sure nothing is wrong. I want to make sure that the tire is seated inside of the rim and that the tube is also aligned correctly. So let's put some slime in this tire. Yep, so the valve core is still removed. Attach the hose there. And I am just going to put the entire bottle of slime in this tire. This just kind of feels like a Ninja Turtle movie. There we go. They recommend putting the valve stem at the upper half of the tire. That way the slime can go into the tube and then work its way down. There we go. Full 8-ounce bottle in this 20 by 4-inch fat tire. Adding air. Then I'm just rotating the tire. Maybe get the slime to go around throughout the tube. And I'm going to do the same thing now with the front tire. Step 1, take off cap, remove valve stem core. And allow the tire to deflate fully. It's loose. Now, I do just want to say, I'm sure there's some debate between what's a better tire sealant. The slime, some people use the flat out, and I have that coming in as well. Some people go as far as putting those Tannis armor liners inside of the tube and everything. So the goal is that we just don't want to get flats because of what I just went through with that rear tire. You just have to do something. You're just investing. So I've already kind of discounted these tires and the also with the tubes as being maybe subpar. And so I've already got brand new tubes and tires that I could replace. So I look at this as being a trial period that I can afford to try this out and see if it works. If it doesn't work, I can easily just replace the entire tube with the brand new tires. I have the Kendas as well, which are a lot better than the Chow Yang here. So that's the only reason I'm just saying, you know what, I got nothing to lose. I already bought these. So I'm gonna just see if they do what they're supposed to do. And if I get some life out of here without having to fix flats that often, then it's worth it, regardless of what you put in your tire. All right, wow, that turned out to be a lot longer. Sometimes people film these videos and, you know, a lot of times we as viewers don't even know what goes on behind the scenes. But, you know, we got the slime in both tires now, inflated to about 18 PSI, max is 20. And I did want to point out one thing before I close down this video is the cable, motor cable on this particular bike. So this motor cable here, as you can see, some of them you just pop them apart, but this one actually has a little twist dial here, which I like, you know, a little detail, a little extra security there. Closing thought for today's video. First of all, I mean, that took a lot longer than I thought it would, just for the back tire with the rear hub motor, getting the chain off and trying to get the tire back on. I want to say that I'm highly disappointed at the tires. I mean, you know, you look at these large, robust 20, even 26 by 4-inch tires, they got the knobs on them, and you would think that automatically equals, you know, puncture resistance, but it's quite the opposite. To know that a staple was able to just protrude through the tire into the tube, and like it doesn't even make this any different from not big, fat, knobby tires. It just seems like a staple, if a staple can cause a flat, I mean, man, it just gives a false sense of security, I guess is what I'm trying to say with these, you know, fatter on-road or off-road tires or trail tires or whatever you're riding. So it does have the slime now in both front and rear tires. Time will tell if it works, if it holds up, but thank you all for watching today's video. This is Ryan from Riding in Style. Yeah.